Good morning. It's Sunday morning, and here I am with a Sunday thought. I have been watching tennis the last couple of days, and it takes up a lot of time just watching. But I used to play tennis, and I enjoy the big tennis. They really, right now they're in Australia, and it's warm and it's hot down there. Anyhow, today I wanted to talk about acceptance. And the reason why that came up for today's topic was there are a couple of clients that I had that had all sorts of issues. But what I found was they weren't dealing or working with acceptance. Acceptance is something we need to do before we begin to change things, to accept the reality of how things are, how they work, what they're about, what's happening. It's like me right now having to accept this new computer and the camera being very different from what we had before, and trying to figure out the best angle where you at least have some background in my living room. And yeah, it doesn't sound very important, but how do I set it up without it always running? Anyway, there's all these little things that go on. So most people overlook the point of acceptance, or how acceptance actually is, how that it plays a part. What I discovered, until I accept a situation as it is, I don't endeavor at all to find a solution. I just kind of leave it. I may complain. I may, go on about this or that, but I'm not going to go find a solution until I first accept there is an issue here of some kind. It could be a feeling, it could be a situation, it could be that you can't put your hand on something that you really want to work with or deal with. As I look down at my little God box that I looked through this morning for something that was on acceptance, didn't find what I really wanted, and that's okay because that happens. It's like wanting and how deciding the directions of how you want to be or what you want to do. I recently was talking with a lady and who'd come for a reading, and I didn't have a chance to do really a reading because she spent a long time talking, and that's fine. Sometimes people need to do that, but there was not really a coherent thought that I could grab hold of to sort of work. And it was after she had left, and I went, what what does this person really need? And I realized you need to accept what is, because until you accept, you're not going to find a solution. You're going to stay muddled or upset or going around in your head 100 different times, repeating the same things. And so I thought, oh, that's a good topic for a Sunday thought. What do we really need to accept within our lives? What makes us happy? What makes us feel really good about who we are and what we're doing and where we're going, etc. All of those things, yes, most people come to that at some point of time. Not always, though. Not always. Sometimes people have a big, what we call a blame issue. It's their fault. It's all sorts of things. And it could be the government, it could be the boss, it could be the neighbor, it could be the wife or the husband or the friend, or, excuse me, it could be anybody. But the reality is, you need to accept how it has you feel, what it is you really are wanting to achieve. Excuse me a second. And it's often a point of coming to conclusions or awarenesses that people miss. I know very often when I have been working with people who are wanting to sort of straighten their lives out or achieve goals and things that they have, one of the elements is listening very carefully as to what their plan is. But often I find they miss the point of accepting the issues that are really the problem. It's like me with my new computer. Finally, I had my computer, I call him my computer guy, very kindly. He's done lots of little things. He came in and did quite a bit, which helped, but we're not quite there yet. There's a couple more things. One is like figuring out from the old computer how to place my computer. So, as I said in the beginning, my background isn't this big blind I have covering the window. Where do I sit? And it bothers me a little bit. But I'm accepting that it's just a matter of working through things to figure it out. And so, unfortunately, it's not like I can figure it out and not worry about it, because if you're going, it doesn't look the same anyway until you go live. So there are issues that we have at different times. And so we want to work out how they work, what they do, where it all fits. I have a couple of solutions I've thought for my blind here, but I haven't come to really accept or decide which way I want to go there. So that learning something new or doing something different sometimes can really upset the norm that you're used to. And when all of a sudden it all changes, it's not always easy to accept the parameters that are there or the elements of what you have to work with. But I have found that until we accept something, we don't change it. So that's why acceptance, whether it be a personal acceptance of an issue that you may have, or the acceptance of somebody else's behavior or sense of who, what, where, that's one of the first things we do to create change. We tend very often to think, well, we have a thought and we decide we're going to do something different, but there is the first acceptance, there is an issue. And what I have found in my years of counseling and reading and lecturing, etc., that a lot of people do not take a good look at what the real issue is. They bounce off the issue and say, oh, well, that's the problem. And it isn't always that. Often it's the acceptance of how the interaction of yourself and the circumstances. How does it have you feel? How does it work with all the other things that go on in a life? And sometimes it's like there's two images. One was like a wheel going around, and one was walking on one of those walking machines. We go along and we don't always look at what is creating a good sense or a not so good sense. So those become different. Those become in a sense of how, what, when, and where. And so that's why I wanted to talk this morning on acceptance of how things are, because I pretty well can guarantee it. If you accept something that upsets you or that you don't really like, then you will do something about it. But what happens, we don't often go into that form of acceptance. We wish, we hope, we pray, it's different, but we don't accept this is my issue or this is what I don't like. Because until we do that, we do not find a resolution to whatever the issue is. So take a look at your life. See if there is anything that really bothers you or upsets you or, just gets on your nerves or whatever. And take a look, what is it you need to accept about it? And can you accept? Because very often we cannot. And that's where change happens. That's where we go in the direction of where we have and be. So that concludes the Sunday Thought. And then I just want to say good morning to Jolie. It's good morning to you, my dear. And also to Yvonne. Thanks for the support. I appreciate that. And I trust you will all have a wonderful day. We're clear. We've had no snow here yet. And I say yet because it'll come in a couple of months for sure, if not one. And just enjoy. Just be happy with how things are. Me, I'll be in front watching a lot of tennis for the next couple of weeks until I'm so full of it, I won't be wanting to do that. I also have some challenges coming up too as well. But that's life. And so it's about acceptance of what needs to be doing and how you can do it. And I wish you well. I wish you enjoyment, and I wish all the wonderful things that you want. But remember, everything begins by accepting what is. Have a good day. Enjoy. Bye now.